Hey, how are you doing? I was searching for ways to explode a building on YouTube and stumbled upon my channel. While I was heavily judging it and thinking about deleting all my videos, I realized that I had broken down many I-DLE songs except for the most iconic one, LATATA, and that's what we'll be doing. Today, you'll understand everything about I-DLE's cuntiest song. It may seem like the song has no deeper meaning, and to be honest, that's right. The song doesn't hold too many meanings or deeper explanations like wife or queen card, but it has crazy good lyricism and some very interesting things that you may not know about. That all being said, let's start. Oh, and keep in mind that the song describes the experience of falling in love for the first time with someone. The song begins by describing a passage of time, which usually happens when you spend time with someone you care about. It can be said that it's the first step to falling in love with someone. Inside the Dark may be a reference to the uncertainty of that moment. Will people like them? Will they like it too? Will they be able to keep going? It was a very uncertain debut. They didn't have much going on support-wise from fans and company, so it was really a shot in the dark. The red light is a signal instructing something to stop, like a warning sign, most likely referring to the quote-unquote dangers of falling in love with them, because once it's done, you can't stop. This is why the red light is in the dark. As the public falls in love with them, they get more and more obsessed with them. And that is apparently something good, because afterward, the iconic line, "Who's scared?" appears. I-DLE is not scared of having the spotlight on them. Pretty much the opposite. They want it and are looking forward to a greater scale of love. This is also a metaphor for their passion. It starts slow and it grows into a bigger fire. This is most likely referring to I-DLE's most characteristic value, their individualities. A scent is unique to each individual, and when they are all together, it gets mixed. After all, they are together, and when this happens, they can burn even higher. In other words, shine even brighter. I-DLE and Soyeon in particular really value their individualities, and different characteristics still steal the spotlight when they are all together. Fun fact, Soyeon explained that all I-DLE's albums start with the letter I because I is the subject of a story, and since they are telling their own story, the letter I is and will always be included. The fact that they are willing to name all of their albums after something so innate is evidently a sign that they care to show their uniqueness while together. A fun detail is that the word used for addiction here is also the one used for poison, or extreme addictions like alcoholism. Remember how I said that I-DLE is looking for a greater scale of love? That's exactly what I mean. They want people to really like and enjoy their work, not just become a casual listener or something similar. This was the hardest line of all I-DLE songs for me to figure out. Just a reference to the previous fire mentioned, a metaphor for both the audience's love for them and their passion as artists. This part is very interesting, despite being small. Soyeon says, "I love ya," with a distorted voice, giving the impression that it's someone else saying it, probably representing the audience saying it to them. When the song was released, this part was described by a few critics and listeners as something called mondegreen, which is a mishearing or misinterpretation of a phrase in a way that gives it a new meaning. Mondegreens are most often created by a person listening to a poem or song. The listener, unable to hear a lyric clearly, substitutes words that sound similar and make some sense. People heard the word Romeo here, yes, as in Romeo and Juliet. For those who don't know, in a very summed up way, Romeo killed himself after thinking his lover Juliet was dead. Soyeon most likely intended to show that this is their relationship with their fans. She'd do everything for them and vice versa. The name Romeo and his role as an idealistic lover have led him to become a synonym for a passionate lover in various places. Soyeon explained that she came up with the word LATATA because she was very into Latin music when she created it. Alongside that, she had in mind a skit she saw when she was young called Bongsunga School, specifically the catchphrase of a character Gonzalez interpreted by Song Yoon-gun. The character would say something similar to the words ratata lata. She also mentioned that the word lata sounded like a spell, so it makes sense to sing it to someone you want to attract and lock in. I'm pretty sure she said she was also inspired by an anime where the character can hypnotize others, but I couldn't find where she said it or the anime name, so you'll have to trust me on this one. The reason why LATATA is repeated 1,000 times is because to cast the spell, one must repeat the enchantment. Part of the incantation is their skills, charms, and talents. That's why they say that they will sing and dance to lock the audience into them. At the end of the chorus, she asks the audience to sing to them, not the opposite like before. This is most likely a reference to the fact that the spell has worked, and the audience is already in love with them. This part is pretty much self-explanatory, but since we are already here, I'll explain everything. There are many groups out there, people debuting every hour, so she asks the public not to be lazy and to check them out too. Time is short because not even 5% of those people debuting get to the top, and what plays a huge role in it is timing. If someone doesn't get attention in a certain amount of time, it's unfortunately over for them. This is only the basics, their debut. There's a lot more coming from them. See, right after this, she asks the audience to go deeper into them and hold them in their mouths. She uses the word magumgo, which translates to keep something in your mouth, and it means that you are unable to stop talking about them, either because you love them or just can't put them out of your mouth. It can be a blow to haters or a beautiful message to fans. Throughout the song, a connection is being made between love and their work. Burning everything is tied to their artistic passion and capacity to make people fall in love with them more. She casts the spell again while playing with the word TA, which means all. She's saying that she'll make everyone fall in love with her, but at the same time, she will grow super big as a passionate artist. It's not hard to love someone for their work, and people envy those who do so in a free manner, instead of holding hate or impossible standards. I just want to point out something interesting here that many may not have realized. I-DLE, and Soyeon specifically, are extremely careful as to when to brag and show off. For example, the use of the word jealous here refers to the impossible standards and hate that idols suffer. It is not used in a derogatory manner or anything of the sort. Soyeon never brags about money or her social conditions, unless it's a diss. Soyeon tends to brag about skills, talent, history, and intellect. If you look over idol songs, you'll notice that even the songs that appear to be gloating aren't truly it. Dollar, a song that seems to talk about money, is actually about intellect and self-value. My Bag, a song that seems to brag about money, is about the members' history and unique traits. I think those are the only ones that seem to be about money, but it just goes to show that they are quite humble. Anyway, just a fun thing I wanted to point out and think about, because if I were as rich as them, I would not be this humble. Let's talk about the iconic line again. Who's scared? It was revealed that Soojin recorded this part many times, so we can assume that this line is the punchline, as it's something Soyeon pays the most attention to. Okay, but why would this sentence be this important? It closes the parallel between love and work. It's their debut song. Everything relied on the song and the public's reception. Things were about to ignite, but who was scared to burn it all up? It certainly wasn't I-DLE. This sentence states that despite everything, they would still keep going if it was up to them. I-DLE didn't benefit significantly from company privilege when they debuted. Cube was a mid-tier company in the K industry at the time, but they weren't even close to SMJYP or Hybe. Cube didn't have the resources to plaster I-DLE everywhere upon debut. Their promotional campaigns were super limited, to the point where they barely made noise despite being from an agency with legendary idols. They had to promote on streets, small venues, etc. There was no pre-debut buzz after all, except for Soyeon and maybe Mion. The members were unknown, and there was no hype around them. Plus, they debuted at a time when the competition was heavy, and I mean heavy. The only thing Cube gave I-DLE was a solid reputation as a result of its great groups within the agency. Everything relied heavily on the girls' skills, and that's what took them far. When the song was first released, not much attention was gained, however. After performances were released, people were impressed by their live skills, which led them to find out more about the group, increasing sales and streams, but still, it didn't make much noise. They kept going, and things got better bit by bit. Today, they're one of the biggest 4th generation girl groups out there. Oh, and Cube did offer a couple of songs for I-DLE's debut, but Soyeon said she wrote LATATA because she felt that the other songs they received were given to her without knowing the members at all, so she felt like she had to make one herself, one that felt more like I-DLE. She did a blind test and got almost no votes, but she still wanted to try, and she did it. So the question remains, who really is scared? Thanks for watching. See you soon, Pookie.